Good morning. This is the May 5th Charter Schools Review Board meeting. I'm going to take attendance. Jeremy Way. Stephen Gay.
Here.
Lauren Kakadelis.
Here.
Bruce Fine. I see you on the live, on the remote.
Yes, here.
Okay. Hilda Pole.
Present.
Todd Godby. Eric Sanchez.
Present.
Bart Danielson. Shelley Shope.
Present.
John Eldridge.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. McCall, and welcome everybody again to the May 5th meeting of the Charter School Review Board. Thank you for all those participating remotely and those here in person today and those across the state listening online as well. I know it's a really super busy time of year for those that are involved in school operations as we get ready to the end of the school year and end of the year testing and all the fun that entails. So appreciate everyone giving their time today. With the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the NC flag. Sorry.
A pledge to the flag.
Sometimes hard to remember that without Hilda here in person to guide us through it. Thank you, Hilda. The mission of the Charter Schools Review Board is to ensure the existence of high-quality charter schools in the state of North Carolina. Our ethics statement. Review Board members are reminded that it is our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the Review Board. Does any member of the Review Board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict of interest to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of an actual or an apparent conflict of interest, please bring that matter to the attention of the chair. It'll then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on the matter and from voting on the matter. Thank you for the staff, for the Office of Charter Schools for putting today's agendas together. We're here for a half day today. Hope you've had a chance to review the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the May 5th, 2025 CSRB agenda?
Mr. Chair, I'll move to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
I
Any
second.
discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We last met in April. The minutes of the April meeting were provided to us as well, and they are available on eBoard. And our responsibility is to go through those minutes and make sure that there are no corrections to be made. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the April CSRB minutes?
Mr. Chair, Hilda Pole moves that we approve the April 2025 meeting minutes.
Linda Lynn Kakadelis, second.
So, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes have passed. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Norns for a special presentation. Good morning.
Good morning. Dr. Norns, Natasha Norns from the Office of Charter Schools. This morning we have a joyous occasion to bring to you, and we celebrate these awardees of the North Carolina State Employees Credit Union 2025 People Helping People Scholarship recipients. They're going to come up and introduce themselves. And next slide. There's 8 of them here today out of 10 scholars that were selected out of 45 applicants this year, the highest we've had in a very long time. Each of them is awarded $10,000 over 4 years to their state university, with each year consisting of $2,500 per semester in scholarship monies for their exceptional community involvement and commitment to giving back to our state. With us this morning, I'm going to introduce you all. If you could come up, don't be nervous. They're not as strict as they might seem. And Cheyenne, if you can come up and tell them your school and your future studies at Western Carolina.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Cheyenne Eford, and I go to Greystone Day School, and I will be graduating there and moving on to Western Carolina University. There I will be a Princeton Honors College Honors Scholar. Sorry, that's a mouthful. And I will be studying communication sciences and disorders to pursue a career as a pediatric audiologist to help kids like me who have a hearing disability and to help their families to understand and grow through that and to know that the challenges are not challenges, but just different ways of doing things.
Let's go with our mouths. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes.
So well spoken. Next. Oh, yes, if you Cheyenne, you're a wonderful example of why we selected the scholars that we did to be this year's recipients. Josie, come on up, Josie from Clover Garden High School.
Hi, my name is Josie Huffines. I'm currently attending Clover Garden High School, and I will be attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. I'm going to study exercise science, and then I plan to pursue a career in pediatric PT, physical therapy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Fortunately, Owen and Zachary were unable to join us today for other extracurricular requirements. Sydney from Sydney Madison News Charter School, come on up. Sorry, yes.
Good morning. My name is Sydney Matisoff. I attend News Charter School in Smithfield, and I'll be attending in the fall North Carolina Chapel Hill to also study sports and exercise science to later pursue a career in pediatric occupational therapy to show kids with diverse abilities that their difference is a superpower.
All right.
Congratulations.
Is Colson here? Hi, Colson. Come on up from Northeast Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technology. She's going to Eastern Carolina. East Carolina.
Hello, my name is Colson McDonald. I'm from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I go to a school called NEAT, also known as Northeast Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technology. I plan to go to East Carolina University in the fall. I plan to pursue a career in nursing. My degree is going to be nursing. I've always been interested in nursing. And thank you guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How different.
Next, we have Allegria Menino from American Leadership Academy in Johnston, attending Appalachian State.
Good morning. My name is Allegria Mino, and right now I'm attending American Leadership Academy in Johnston. I will be attending Appalachian State University this fall, where I plan to major in interior design. I'm originally from Ecuador. I moved here like 5 years ago now with my parents. So that was a really big change for me. But that experience helped me like grow as a person, and I plan to be able to create and design spaces for people to make them feel comfortable and inspired, I guess. So thank you.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Allegria actually wrote that about her transition here in her essay. And Eliza O'Quinn from Central Carolina, attending UNC Chapel Hill.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Eliza O'Quinn. I am from Lee County, North Carolina. And this fall, I'm going to be attending Chapel Hill. I'm super excited. And I plan on double majoring. I will be a nursing and criminal justice major. I will be a CRNA, go to anesthesia school after Chapel Hill, and work in the hospital for a little while. And then I plan on becoming a forensic nurse and working with victims. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
Is Bo here? Hi, Bo. So glad you could join us from Northeast Regional School of Biotechnology and Agriscience, attending Appalachian State.
So my name is Bo Sampson. I'm from a little town called Plymouth, North Carolina. It's northeast of this state. I go to NERSBA, also known as that long name up there. As you can see, I'm in my FFA attire today because that's what we are known for at NERSBA is our FFA. I plan on going to Appalachian State University and majoring in business administration with a concentration in marketing sales. And hopefully I'll be able to go as a marketing analyst for agriculture industry, hopefully from a hair and ag and chemical company. So thank y'all.
What was your branch in FFA?
Right now I'm currently serving as the president of my chapter of the NERSBA chapter. I was also a part of my federation and regional chapters. So I've done many CDs, which is career development events and leadership development events, from extemporaneous public speaking to forestry to actually going to Oklahoma City a few years back for land's home site evaluation.
Awesome.
So
Congratulations.
sir. Thank you.
Bo. Way to go.
And lastly, we have Marley Swainer from Oxford Prep, attending UNC Chapel Hill in the fall.
Good morning. I'm Marley Swanner. I'm from Oxford, North Carolina, and I'll be graduating from Oxford Preparatory School. And I'll also be graduating from Vance Granville Community College with an Associate's in Arts. And I plan to attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill for business and a focus in finance. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
As you can see, these were very outstanding candidates, and we're all very proud of you. And thank you so much for waking up so early with the travel this morning, and many of you who are going to go to the eastern to the western part of the state. So we congratulate you again.
And we'd love to invite everyone up with the board members, all the recipients. If you would like to take a picture with the board, that would be wonderful. We could all come up this way.
No NC State. I'm gonna have to talk to our recruiting people.
Yeah, thank you.
Outstanding kid.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, I can almost get Jeremy a little bit. Okay. All right, let's see. All right. 1, 2, 3. Pictures. Yeah, I love him. Yes, I visited several times.
Thank you, seniors.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, we're very happy to have you.
Washington, yes. Oh, how do you like it here? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow.
Nice job. Congratulations. Did you guys learn? I was in China studying law in April 9th. Congratulations to you. See you guys. Oh, very good. Thanks for coming up. Thank you.
Before the students head off and the families, just want to thank on behalf of the CSRB for being here this morning and congrats too for those who could not be here. What an outstanding honor and that's a great way to start our meeting. So some of you may not know, but you talked about no NC State folks, but the chair and I both went to the University of Pittsburgh. So where's the University of Pittsburgh folks back here? But I think about this award and people helping people, and allow me to probably show my age a little bit. But there was this other guy from Pittsburgh. His name was Fred Rogers. Some of you will recognize him as Mr. Rogers, probably a little bit older than our awardees today would remember. But one of his famous quotes was that strength comes from helping others. So thank you for all the work you've done to help those around you and continue that as you continue on into your university studies and beyond. So again, congratulations to all of you. That, let's call the agenda. We're going to head into amendments. Ms. Wetzel.
All right, good morning. That is a hard act to follow this morning. We have 4 amendments this morning. The first one is from the Franklin School of Innovation. They're requesting to participate in the National School Lunch Program. They are located in Buncombe County, and they've been in operation since 2014, and they're currently serving about 700 students in grades 5 to 12. They're requesting to amend its charter to participate in the National School Lunch Program. They have a new commercial kitchen, and they also have a high percentage of Title I students at their school. It'll provide them with a source of revenue to help them sustain the service and will allow families to receive other benefits available under the program. So they're requesting that this amendment be approved to enable them to better serve its students and the community. And somebody should be online from the school if there's any questions.
Thank you for that. Any questions from CSRB members regarding this request?
I'm going to make a motion to accept this amendment.
We have a motion. Can you get a second?
Second.
Hilda Perley, second.
Second.
Dr. Donaldson, any discussion? Okay. In favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, passes unanimously. Yep.
All right. The next amendment is from Durham Charter School. They're requesting to relocate over 5 miles from their current location. They are a public charter school in Durham County. They've been in operation since 1997, formerly known as Healthy Start Academy, and they currently serve over 1,000 students in grades K to 11. They're requesting a relocation of over 5 miles, which you all must approve. They are currently located at 807 West Chapel Hill Street in Durham, and they want to relocate to a new facility under construction that is 11 miles away at 5510 Wake Forest Highway in Durham. It's a critical component of their long-term growth plan. They want to expand from 1,000 students to over 1,250 students located across 3 campuses. It has more modernized facilities, expanded instructional spaces, and enhanced resources, ensuring a more cohesive and efficient educational experience for students and staff. So they submitted all required documentation to us and request approval for this relocation. And somebody should be online to answer any questions.
Thank you. Since this is a relocation, why don't we, if anyone is online would like to just say a few words to the board, we'll give that opportunity.
And I can't see who is online. Alex, are you online?
We're working through some technical difficulties.
And we're a little early. I think we're running a little early too.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't we, if we may, let's maybe try to get in touch with them and we'll come back to this one if that's okay. Yeah. Just want to give them the courtesy of being able to talk to their request.
Yeah, and we were scheduled to start at 9:30, so we're a little early. All right, I know, next one, we're going to move to Liberty Charter Academy, and I know Ms. Sauer is here today. She'll be available to answer any questions. Liberty Charter Academy is a Guilford County charter school in the ready to open process. They are already preparing to open this August. So the plan laid out in the original application included opening with grades K-9 in High Point or Jamestown with 645 students. They found a permanent location in High Point. They've got bond financing, and they're progressing towards a successful opening. However, there have been some challenges. The existing facility has been identified as zoned for K-8 instead of K-9, and the timeline for the traffic impact analysis of the desired improvements and the bond closing is very tight, so they're a little concerned about that room they have to navigate any unexpected concerns along the way. So as such, they request the following amendments. They want to delay enrolling students in 9th grade and start with K-8 this coming fall. They want to reduce the projected enrollment to 500 as a result of not having 9th grade next year, and they might lose some siblings of prospective 9th graders. They want to add 9th and 10th grade simultaneously in 2026, so that will align them back in the 2026-27 school year. They want to delay the first day of school until September 2nd to allow them additional time to get what they need to get done. And if necessary, they have identified an alternate location that is more than 5 miles from the permanent site. If despite the delayed start date, the permanent facility is not open in time, they have this site ready to go, but it's over 5 miles, 10.4 miles from the permanent site. The permanent site is in High Point, and the alternate temporary site will be in Greensboro. So you can see that they've requested the enrollment projections have changed, starting from K-9 to going down to K-8, and then they'll be aligned in their 5th year with K-12 at 1,227 students. And Ms. Sauer is here from Liberty Charter to answer any questions from the review board.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. Mr. O'Day, the board chair, is also getting on, but he was expecting to be on at 9:30, so I don't know if he'll be on yet.
Any commentary you want to color commentary you want to provide, or we can start asking you some questions?
Well, that was a very thorough explanation. I think that we're just in this situation where in order to keep 9th grade this year, which is what we'd planned and what we'd wanted to do, we would have to go to a different site. We just don't have the time because we have to wait until we get our ECO before we can start the process for amending the planned unit development that would be required to add the high school. So we think with a year, we should be able to go through that process. We don't expect that to be, there are a lot of opposition to that. So it's just the adding 9th grade. We're reducing our enrollment projections partly because of that, and partly because of if we have to use the new space, we don't think we'll have to use the alternate location. But if we do, then it's more comfortable with fewer students. So we're just trying to plan for all the contingencies.
So the alternate location would accommodate the 500.
The alternate location would probably accommodate fewer than that. So we're being strategic about how we open grades. We're sitting right around just over 300 now. So we're opening classes strategically. So if it looks likely in the next month, 2 months, that we're going to need the location, the alternate location, we'll probably cap that.
Okay. I guess I have a procedural question. I feel like I should know the answer to, but I'm not confident. So the school was approved K-9.
It was approved K-9 to start. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And then
so the original charter is K-9.
growing to K-12.
And by law, if your school is, and I'll just use the word in good standing, like academic, fiscal, everything else, you're allowed to grow 1 grade level a year, either up or down. So this amendment request is to start K-8, but to also grant 10th grade in year 2. Can we do that until we know how year one actually went? Since the original charter was K-9.
Well, because this is an RTO school, any RTO school, you're typically deciding before you know how the first year went, what the enrollment, like what the 5-year plan is going to be. So for a school like this, which is coming in before it's open, they're essentially revising that 5-year growth plan. And you could add 6 grades at one time over a course of a year if it's in that 5-year growth plan in the original charter application.
Okay.
Yeah, the statutory kind of grade requirements only, like, that comes into play when you're out of your growth phase, or if you become continually low performing, but that wouldn't be the case here because they wouldn't have had enough time to, even be on that list.
Yeah, and I asked that question just to make sure we can actually have the ability to approve this request, not suggesting I'm not supportive of it, but any other questions that board members have for the applicant?
Yes, this is Rita Hare.
Oh,
What is the break-even enrollment number?
Board members, just hold on one second. We're trying to increase your volume.
While I'm working on that, Eric, I think, had a question.
yeah, I'm wondering, and I'm sorry if this was just said, so the number of 10th graders you're expecting in the 9th, 10th year is how many?
Oh, I don't remember what that was. It might be as many as 100 is projected in the application.
So you're expecting 100 kids to start a high school in one place and then come to your high school in their second year.
I think that's an aggressive expectation, but yes, I think that's possible. Realistically, it might be fewer than that, but that's what we'd ask for in the application. And what we're asking for now is just to, again, delay that 9th grade and pick that back up that second year.
Why not just delay the 9th grade and then start with 9th grade the following year?
Yeah, we could do that, and that's certainly if that's what, if y'all don't give us permission to add the 10th grade at the same time, that's obviously what we'll do. The reason for adding the 10th grade at the same time is because operationally and logistically, I believe it's easier to start with 9th and 10th grade because we have more high schoolers. There's an economy of scale. It's actually, when you start with more grades, it's easier to get families that have kids in multiple grade levels. So I think those are the big reasons why. We also have some 9th graders. We don't have a lot because as soon as we realized that there might be an issue with having 9th grade at that site, while we were exploring the options, we didn't promote the 9th grade. So we don't have a lot of 9th graders, but we do have some that want to come and are interested in joining us that following year. So it's part about keeping our promises to those kids, but it's also about it being operationally advantageous to add both grades at the same time.
Operationally and financially.
Well, sure, more students, it helps financially, but especially with high school, because you have so many different teachers and
courses,
specialties, and then it's easier that way.
And Mr. Chair, I have a question, Hilda Parlay. Are we expected to vote these on the Moss or choose ones that we think more realistically we could approve? Did you hear me?
Sorry for the technical difficulties that we're having right now. Unfortunately, we're not hearing those remote that are very.
Okay. Did you hear me at all, Hilda Parlay?
I hear you, Hilda.
Okay.
I typed in my questions if someone would read the chat.
Maybe I should type in mine. since we're having difficulties.
Yeah, this is Linda and Hilda. I would type them in because I don't believe they're hearing us at
Okay.
all. I've sent Ashley a text message and she responded. So I'll text her to make sure to check the chat.
Okay, thanks.
Delay.
This is John O'Day. Do you want me to read some of these chat questions?
Rita's question is, what's the break-even number?
What was
For
that?
this year is 232.
Rita,
I have
try
no
it again.
Hello.
Okay, remote attendees, we are so sorry we did not hear your questions. So we're going to come to your questions now. Hilda, you're up first.
Yes, are we to approve these en masse? Or those that are more realistic to approve today?
Well, the request is to
Or not
approve.
approve?
The amendment request is to approve these as a collective approval. Certainly it's within our purview to do them individually or as a subset if that's what we so choose.
Thank you.
Bruce, this is Rita Hare. Can you hear me now?
Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Rita, please go ahead.
Was the break-even number 230 something? Trying to hear that.
Yes, ma'am, 232.
And current enrollment is 300?
It's around 300. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and those are approved applications, approved, enrolled?
We have, sorry, I don't have the exact numbers with me. I turned them in and they're in the report coming up next. But we have a number of applications enrollments that have actually filled out the paperwork, and we have some that are pending. We have about, I think it was about 14 that were pending out of that 300 and something.
What was the prior use of the facility at Westchester that you hope to be your permanent facility?
Yes, it originally started as a JCPenney, and then 2 different churches were in it. So most recently, it's been a church.
The one church?
That sounds right. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. So would you be in that end of the facility? Because the entire facility was a mall at one time. So you're talking about the section on I guess the north end, that was a church?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
I look forward to you coming to visit. It's going to be amazing.
I will do that. And your opening is still set for August. Your enrollment's over the break even. I think adding 10th grade, because as Ashley said, you're ready to open. You're still kind of formulating what this is going to look like. It makes a lot of strategic sense to me to try to bring in those 2 at once, especially since you're not able to do it this year, to go ahead and have some 9th and 10th graders in there and merge that into your curriculum plan and your staffing plan and everything. So I'm on board with that.
Thank you so much. I just want to say one thing. One of the things we're asking for is also to delay the start of school until September 9th. I'm sorry, till September 2nd, just after Labor Day. And the reason for that is just to give us a little breathing room. We think it'll all line up, but just in case something unexpected, again, we're trying to cover all the contingencies, and we thought that it would be better to make that decision now and be able to tell the parents and have everyone plan for it than to try to make that decision later on.
Thank you so much. I believe Linda Lynn, did you have a question, Linda Lynn?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Anyone else on the remote side of our meetings today have a question? How about here?
I guess I do, Bruce. Did they state what the determinant is that may force them to use the alternate location? Is it getting a certificate of occupancy? which they would already have at the alternate location, but they can't get it at the permanent?
Answer that, Mary Catherine.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I suppose that there are any number of things that can go wrong, but it would be just delays in that the renovations that we have to do. There are a couple things that are required for us to do in order to get that ECO. One of them is upgrade the fire alarm system. And that sounds easy, but they're expecting that to be 6 weeks. So it's just little things like that. There's some other things that we would like to do to the facility that we aren't required to do to get to the ECO, but we need paint and we would like some electronic buzz-in system, and those things are just so if any of those get pushed out, we might consider the alternate location. It's just to consider all the contingencies and have a solid backup plan.
Right. I would hope that the facility at Westchester works for you, even if your delayed timing has to happen. It seems like it would be much more difficult to start somewhere down 68 and then move your school and your population to this location. So whatever you need to do to make that work, I know you're the guys doing it, but it just seems like that would be the way you'd want to go.
You are correct. Yes, ma'am.
I guess I have another procedural question. Again, and please correct me if my memory is fading. I didn't think that the CSRB was required to approve a school delaying their opening as long as their board has approved that delay and it meets the minimum attendance qualifications. Am I correct about that?
Yes, you're correct. When there's multiple amendments for like an RTO school, we like to bring them together. So you see the whole picture.
Whole picture. Okay. But as a matter of technicality, the fourth request is not something that we would necessarily have to vote on. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for the school?
Still thinking about that location at Westchester. This is Rita Hare. Did you mention the traffic study and they don't expect traffic flow to be an issue? I know there's a large parking area with this facility, but I wondered about in and out of Westchester.
Yeah, so we have done the traffic study and we've run those numbers. We're waiting for NCDOT final approval on that, but our traffic engineers are having many conversations with them. We've asked for the traffic study and that approval to come for the whole K-12 build out. So we're doing that in phases. And the feedback that we've gotten so far is that with our first phase, which is the K-8, then I don't believe there are any concerns. We have plenty of stacking on site. With the K-12, they're looking at possibly having to retime the traffic lights and restripe the parking lot as part of that for both phases. But it already has turn lanes, it already has a stoplight, and so we don't expect any off-site improvements to be required.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have before us an amendment from Liberty Charter to delay enrolling students in 9th grade and open with K-8 next year, reduce the enrollment to 500 students. They would add 9th and 10th grade simultaneously in 2026. They do intend to delay the start of this school year by a few weeks. And also, if needed, they've identified an alternate location that would be more than 5 miles from the permanent site. Any other questions or anyone like to make a motion?
I'd suggest that we strip out the part related to the delayed opening, since that's not something we need to approve. And I wouldn't want, if they decided they needed 2 more days, I wouldn't want them to think they had to come back here because we'd approve something that we don't really have any authority to approve to begin with.
Okay. So is that a motion to?
That's a motion to approve the application with the exception of the
approving the delay of start.
The delay of start on which we have no, we're not denying that. We're just not
responsible for.
Responsible for it, yes.
Gwendolyn Cadella seconds that.
All right. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Can we repeat the motion?
The motion is to approve the amendment request as written, with the exception of pulling out the delay of the first day of school until September 2nd. We're pulling that out, not because we necessarily oppose that, but that's not a decision that is usually brought forward to the CSRB.
So by voting in favor of this amendment, we are we're approving the 9th, 10th expansion in the second year.
If you vote yes on this motion, yes.
I still have some concerns about the 10th, in that, and I was hearing both the budgetary aspects to it. To me, the recruitment challenges exist there. And then that's also now your founding class in 10th. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I found concerns in that. Anybody share that?
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we have, again, the motion on the table is to allow Liberty Charter to delay enrolling students in 9th grade and open K through 8 this school year. They would reduce the projected enrollment to 500. In 2026, they would be able to add 9th and 10th. And they also would be approving the alternative location that is more than 5 miles away if it is needed to open the school. Ashley, can we do a roll call vote on this?
All right. Stephen Gay,
Approved.
Bruce Friend, Rita Hare,
Aye.
Hilda Parlay,
Approved.
Todd Godby, Eric Sanchez,
Aye.
Bart Danielson,
Aye.
Shelley Shope, aye. John Eldridge,
Aye.
Gwendolyn Cacadelas.
Aye.
All right. It passes, and we'll work with you as you guys get ready to open.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are folks from Durham Charter on the line?
Yes, said he's available.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Quigley.
Hey.
Ms. Wilson had provided an overview of your request, but we wanted to give you the opportunity to speak to it as well. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Incidentally, we also just pushed back the start of school 2 weeks. So to September 2nd. We are building a 50-acre campus in as it says, about 15 miles away, 10 miles away from the school. It's more like 15 minutes away. And the primary reason is we are now split between 3 facilities and have outgrown all 3 of them, and are seeing a growing surge in interest, and have been planning this move for 3 years. Obviously, should have submitted this request earlier, but everything is well underway, and we are excited to be in a location that there's an extensive amount of growth in that area. We currently have we are knocking on the door of 1,000 applications for about 300 seats. 350 available seats will grow from 1,000 to 1,250 next year, and are projecting even more students than that. So everything is on track. We just need the building complete and the city of Durham to move forward with appropriate permits for us to have our CO, which we've been told is on track for the first week of August.
Great, thank you for that. Mr. Quigley, quick question. Have you identified any transportation hardships that maybe existing families would face with this move, and how do you plan to tackle those if they exist?
Yeah, it does require. We actually have used the opportunity to completely restructure our bus routes. It was kind of necessary to do that. We're essentially we've established a system where parents have the opportunity to sign up for bus routes rather than us kind of assigning them. So we are completely redesigned them. We do have more community and satellite stops, which are different, but the response indicates that enough of the stops were in some pre-existing locations or in locations that are effectively manageable for families. So we're offering 120 stops in the city of Durham, running 12 buses roughly. And we did a survey process to initially put the stops out and have parents sign up. And then we had a enrollment and transportation day. We now have 800 where parents actually had to come in, fill out a physical form to confirm and identify their chosen stop. And we have 800 students represented on that list, which is generally tracking with the percent of students that are taking advantage of bus routes now. It's about 70%. So we feel, and we're also able to accommodate currently all of the students that are new. So we feel we haven't had anyone. We probably had 5 students that have said they probably won't be able to come to the school as a result, but we're not seeing a significant impact there. And this is a more economical and manageable method for us to continue transportation. As you all know, providing comprehensive transportation is hard. Even Durham Public Schools had to go to four days a week of transportation offered to families and are moving to community stops as well.
Thank you for that. Other questions or comments from board members? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this request. You have a second?
Second, Stephen Gay.
Thank you, Stephen. Any discussion? I'll just add that I think we know that this is one of the best charter schools that we have in the state of North Carolina. So the opportunity to have even more students to enroll, I think is good for those families. So, yeah. Definitely. Art, did you have any comment or? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I just want to say I appreciate the support and the kind words, and my sincere apologies for not making the request 3 years ago when we purchased the land and the board initially approved this, or the launch of this process, I think in 2021, actually, was our original retreat to begin this process. So I'm sorry that I did not make it earlier. I apologize. It was not intentional.
Well, if all of us could only predict what issues might be and challenges 3 years out.
That's true. It did look harried there for a little while as we work through just getting the site plan approval took almost a year longer than we expected. So who knows what could have happened.
Yeah. Okay, the motion and second is that Durham Charter be allowed to relocate over 5 miles away at the identified location. Ashley, can we do a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. All right, Stephen Gay.
Approved.
Bruce Friend. Rita Hare.
Aye.
Hilda Parlay.
Approved.
Eric Sanchez.
Aye.
Bart Danielson.
Aye.
Shelley Shope.
Aye.
John Eldridge.
Aye.
Linda Lemon-Cacadillas.
Aye.
All right, it passes.
And congratulations. We look forward to coming visiting you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We will be having a dedication, ribbon cutting, whatever it's called, probably towards the end of September, and we'll certainly be inviting the entire board. So
that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Last amendment request is from Thomas Academy. They are requesting for a grade level expansion. They are a public charter school in Columbus County, serving approximately 60 students in grades 6 through 12. As a reminder, they were approved back in the fall to enroll less than 80 students by CSERB. The school has been in operation since 2016. The board of directors and school community are requesting an amendment to their charter application to expand to grades 3-5 for this upcoming school year. They are located on the campus of boys and girls home of North Carolina, and they serve a unique population that includes both residential and community students from Columbus County and then approximately 9 surrounding counties. The school serves over 120 students over the course of the school year. So due to their experience in fluctuation of the enrollment, they are requesting to add grade levels 3 through 5. Because they want to do 3, 4th, and 5th, 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the same time, it needs to be approved by the Charter Schools Review Board. And you can see their school performance for the past few years, and they've submitted all required documents to the Office of Charter Schools. And we should have the school principal and board chair online to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions that CSRB members have for members of the school that are present?
Did they say what the current enrollment is?
It's hovered around 60 over the school year.
Actually, presently, it's about 71.
Okay.
This is Linda Lynn Cacadelas. I have a question. Will the students in grades 3 through 5 be residential, or will they just be coming from the community?
It's going to be open for the community as well, Columbus County schools and residential as well. We want to be able to serve sibling groups that do come to the boys and girls home to live. And so those boys and girls can stay together.
I just personally, I've visited the school, and I just want to thank you for what you do, Dr. Gantz. It's a labor of love in that school, and you can see it when you visit it. And I appreciate what you do.
You are so welcome. And I have 3 individuals from the board of directors with me today: Dave Wyatt, Julie Wolf, and Pat Medlin. And I also have our CEO, president, and superintendent of Thomas Academy, Mark Murphy, with me as well.
Let's turn over again. What, the addition of the extra grade levels, what impact is this on staffing?
We are going to, it will impact our middle school teachers. We've been working with Raleigh Triangle International in partnership with the teachers and the administration for a smooth transition of blended classes. So at this point in time, we are utilizing the faculty that we have.
Dr. Gantz, this is Rita Hare. Do you currently have, I'm sorry.
I just that's just in other words, there's no additional staffing needed for the budget.
No additional staff for the budget.
All right, thank you.
No, sir, you're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rita, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Do you currently have an interest list or a pre-enrollment list in these grade levels?
We have been, advertising open enrollment, and of course, we are expecting about 20 additional residential students to join the school for 2025, 2026. And so we're in the planning stages of the enrollment piece. And so that's where we are at this point in time.
And so currently those 20 or so students that are residential are busing to a public school, the nearby public school?
No, we accommodate those students that are residential students in grades 6 through 12. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders go to a nearby school in Columbus County, Hallsboro, Artesia, but we're anticipating an additional 20 students that will live on the property of the Boys and Girls Home for 2025, 2026. But at this point in time, we do not know the grade levels of those students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, it sounds like Thomas County is doing some pretty great things. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to accept this amendment.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the amendment request to expand to grades 3 through 5. Would anyone like to second that motion?
This is Rita Hare.
Second.
Okay. I think Eric Sanchez beat you to the punch. Thank you.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Okay. Stephen Gay.
Aye.
Bruce Friend.
Aye.
Rita Hare.
Aye.
Hilda Parlay.
Approved.
Todd's not here. Eric Sanchez.
Aye.
Bart Danielson.
Aye.
Shelley Shope. Aye. John Eldridge.
Aye.
Linda Lynn Cacadelas.
Aye.
All right, it passes.
Thank you so much for your support and guidance.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Well, for those amendment requests. Moving right along, back to Dr. Norris.
Good morning again. Here with you for the last RTO monthly CSER report and before the June approval date. We're excited to be here because it means in May that we're 1 month closer to approval. Next slide. So all of the schools have successfully completed RTO2. They were given final standings letters last week per school with updated feedback and best practices. So their final RTO3 submissions are due May 19th, which include exceptional children's policies and plans, nepotism and conflict of interest policies, and more, as well as ECOs. 2 of the schools have been granted ECOs within the last month. That's Honor Prep and Liberty. So the enrollment report includes the offered seats and fully enrolled seats. And next month on June 9th, we will be coming to you with the schools in attendance that you deem may need to be here. If not all, and they will be working toward completing all of their requirements, and you will either request them who are not meeting requirements to attend or have extenuating circumstances. So let's begin. First school up is Go Big, Great Opportunities and Boundless Innovations for Girls in Mecklenburg County. The approved year 1 ADM was 150. They had requested an amendment previously to lower that. Their May enrollment currently is 28 enrolled. Break-even number is 105. So they recently, within the last month, executed their lease. And they are working toward acquiring a renovation permit. They also have project management team estimating their TCO or ECO will be provided by August 19th. And they have 4 positions remaining to be filled for staffing. Next up is Agape Achievement Academy in Cumberland County. Approved year 1 ADM is 210. As a reminder, these are all delay schools, by the way. And they have a 91 student enrollment. They have a break-even number of 126. And renovation work is almost complete. They had to create a firewall within a former furniture store to provide classrooms that could be approved with an ECO. They anticipate that to come in the next week. And they have a principal hired for staffing and teachers currently being interviewed. Next. Third delay school from previous years, we have Honor Prep opening with an approved year 1 132. They currently have 73 enrolled, and the even is 105. With their ECO, it's on file, and the branding and beautification continues on the former TMSA location there, and their staffing, they have offered all positions with 80% currently. Next is Nalanda Academy. The approved year 1 is 196. Their May enrollment is 117 students. Their break even is 147. The facility updates is they not needing any renovations to the former Wally Oak Charter School, and their expected ECO to be in their name should be mid-May at some point. Their staffing is as such that they've begun interviewing a school leader. Next. Norfolk Academy, We've seen this school for the last 3 years, so we're really anticipating this all works out for them with a year 120. The SAT is currently at 468 students and families, and their breaking number has been surpassed of 220. And current facility is they have a playground installed. And the school is being graded. Some ceiling work to be done. They expect their ECO by June 25th. The staffing is somewhat complete with an administration team, deans, and teachers being hired. They're determining remaining positions at this point with their final enrollment. Next school. These are all in year 1 of RTO. This is Carolina Achieve in Alamance County. Approved at 400 to open, currently at 199 of enrollment. For students and families, their break-even number has been surpassed at 175. We have some current facility updates with erosion control, and they have also grading in process to put their modulars. The modulars are almost completely constructed and expect their ECO on June 15th, and all staff have, nearly all staff hired. Next. We have Sledge Institute. Henderson County, their approved year 1 is 125. They are currently at 126, and their breaking number even was 100 students. So they actually just signed a lease in, that's not Henderson County, sorry, that's Vance County that should be there. They signed a lease in Henderson at a previous Head Start building, which was not their original plan. And you can ask me more questions. I can give you more if you need. And they expect their ECO to be at the end of this month with their name on the facility ECO with some final and grades needing to be done to the school. Their staffing includes currently hired principal, ops manager, a CTE specialist being hired, and offers being made to EC director and K teacher. Next. We have Triad International Studies in Guilford County. They're at 144 of their projected enrollment is 144. Their May enrollment currently is at 71, and their break-even number is at 80. The facility update is that the modular classrooms have been shipped, and they expect the ECO at the end of June. Their staffing is almost secured, including EC, 7 core teachers, and a bus driver. Next, we're almost finished. Liberty Charter School, as we've just heard from Mary Catherine Sawyer, and ATA is in Guilford County. Their approved year 1 is 645, but that is now 500 as the amendment was passed. And its main enrollment is 303 with a break-even number at 232. Facility updates we've all heard. They're expecting improvements being done by August 4th, but they have the backup facility with an ECO, and 8 out of 21 staff members have been hired. We're at Anderson Charter School in Forsyth County. Anderson has a year 1 approval of 100 students. They're at 66 currently enrolled, and their break-even number is also 80. They have some final touches that are required to be done on the building, including a renovated electric, input of the electricity on their campus. So they went from a very outdated electric map to this newly Renalda electric pathway on their campus. The anticipated ECO is July 17th. They currently have hired 13 staff members, including an ops manager, core teacher, specialist, and EC director. Next. It just keeps going this year. Oh, is that it? Oh, great. Okay.
Thank you. And this is an opportunity now for the board to ask any questions or make any comments regarding this report. I don't mind. Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
Just going to say also for the review board members that because a lot of these schools are listening, if there's anything that you look forward to seeing over the next month or any questions or advice you would give them, that this is a great time to do that.
And thank you for that segue, because that's where I was going to start. As this board has learned in the past.
Hello?
Okay.
We can't hear.
All right, so I'm going to continue while we work out the technical issues. The 80 student minimum is a bar that must be met. And when we say 80 students, that's 80 students that show up on the first day of school. So when you kind of think about the patterns that we've seen, or, I think 20% is a good number to kind of be factoring in, to where expect 20% of those 80 students to not show. And so if you're looking to hit 80 students on your first day of school, you're hoping that you're at 100 students, or roughly around 100 students that have said they're coming, with the expectation that possibly 20% are not going to. So just, I can't speak for the board, but I myself will say that if the school does not hit that 80%, not 80 number, just remember that's beyond our control. If you have 80 students, you can't stay open. And the next thing I would say for all those schools that are, you have a number that you said is your break even, and you're not near that break even number, that's another signal for us to be very concerned that you're going to be able to make a year-long budget work. And I've also found out, just through my own work and work with schools over the last couple of years, that I don't know how a school's making it when I have less than 300, 350 students and making a budget work. So if you're paying rent, you're paying a lease or mortgage of some sort, and you have less than that number of students in this day and time, things are going to be tough. So hopefully you're being very smart with the selections you're making for the staffing choices that you make. One of the things I'll be looking for, and I'm, again, I'll be quiet after this, but is how you're taking care of your classroom students. Because I think a lot of times what we'll find is there's a large number of administrative people in place are not impacting what's happening in the classrooms. So make sure you're being very wise about your selections, about your staffing your school, to be sure that you're meeting the needs of your students. That's my soapbox.
And Mr. Chair, I have a comment after John.
All right, you're on.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me, Hilda Perlay?
We can hear you, Hilda.
Okay, there needs to be a correction for Sledge. They are not in Henderson County. They're in the town of Henderson,
Yes, we
but the
noted.
county advance.
Thank you, Hilda. We did note that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
This is Rita Hare. If this is the time for questions, is that what I heard? Okay. Go Big. Great opportunities and boundless innovations for girls. This is a girls-only school that's been before us for, I would say, 4 or 5 years, for those of you who recall. Ashley, is this not the school that came the very first time wanting to do a residential school?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that goes back quite a few years. I see their logo says established 2023, but it goes beyond that. And they currently show 28, which I would assume they're giving us their best number at this point in time. And are they set to open in August? And are they currently actually signing a lease?
Hi, Rita, this is Dr. Noren. So I just want to preface this by saying we have had numerous one-on-one meetings with Go Big throughout the last 2 months. They are slated to meet with us every 2 weeks for facility updates. But yes, they leased a location, I think back in February, but they were unable to actually get into the location to do any updated work. They do have several, maybe not several, but I think 2 to 3 nonprofits that are supporting them at this time with their facility updates. After receiving the lease, there was some lull in being able to actually have their architectural plans ready for the permit. This is what we're being told. So at the last meeting we had with this board chair and the school leader, I explained to them the need for more information. They had a project manager at the meeting from a nonprofit that's supporting them with their facility. And he, at that time, gave them specific dates that they hadn't had before. So mind you, this was 2 weeks ago. And he told them that the EC is prepared to be ready by 19th, and their current first day of school is August 20th.
Dr. Norns, it's unfortunate that our sound is, I don't think I heard a complete sentence. Can you hear me?
Wow.
I can hear you, Dr. Hare.
I heard a lot of broken phrases, and so I think I got the gist of what you were saying. My question would be, how long do we continue to work with a number of 28 that planning to open in 3 months, and showing the years of attempts? I think that that's an indication when you talk about interest or demand or the market for something, and they're still pushing forward. If they're getting funding from nonprofits, maybe they wouldn't be a public charter school with public funding, or maybe just 20 some students would be funded. I don't know how that would work, but what are we doing to address that, I guess, is the question, or what should we do? Do we just allow it to go until opening day?
I think that's a question I was going to ask Ashley to give us, or Dr. Norris would be. So what's our role at the end of all this, or at the end of the RTA process? What's our role?
So with this school, and I believe there's one other school. We have a meeting by May 15th for them to decide. Not that we want them to quit their work, but in all reality, when 3 weeks later they have to come here on June 9th, they have been given the date of May 15th to meet with us and to say what their plans should be forthcoming after that. So at this point, that's in place. That really the ball's in your all's court, and you need to
June 9th, then, if let's say these schools don't decide they're going to throw the towel and we're going to keep pushing, by June 9th, then is when we have to decide whether or not we're going to allow them to continue or not. Because I think that's, and hearing that being a yes.
Saba, where the students went 3 months into the school year and
or below enrollment. So those schools are in this situation. Please think very, very hard about what your plans are, so that when we get to June 9th, hopefully decisions are made so that we don't get put in a position to have to do that for you.
That's correct.
Is Nalanda the other academy?
Nalanda has had some challenges this year. The other one, I believe it was Anderson Academy. There was one for Anderson. They were at the 80 number. They currently have 66 enrolled. I want to reiterate that the information has been repeatedly stated to these schools regarding the legislature about 80 students. It has been repeated, it has been written and documented in emails and communications.
If you look, it's Honor Prep. They're at 73. Agape is at 91, and just because they're at 91, if you think of that 20%, they're inside the bubble of not having the numbers they need on day one, and that's something I think we keep that in mind as well. But there are several schools that are inside that bubble. that really need to be doing some work to make sure that they have enrollment numbers that they can show us so we can feel confident on June 9th.
I do have to say, many of these board members and school leaders are, what is this saying? Hopeful, optimistically hopeful, and that is like the energy they run. So.
This is Lindley and Kakadelis, and I just want to say I appreciate their enthusiasm and their passion. However, when you look at the enrolled number and the break-even number on these schools, I mean, either they're gonna, I know 80 is what's in statute, but the break-even number, I think, John, you said it, is that's even more of a concern to me. And so we will be making these hard decisions in June.
Anyone else? Any further comments or questions? Well, I know Dr. Norris has been very communicative with these schools and has set the expectation. And I hope that any of the schools that are online today have also heard the Charter School Review Board's concern that we don't want to travel down the road of getting into a situation where we're telling a school after a month that your enrollment's below where it need to be, and now we have to send these students back to another school. Disrupting their education like that is just not a service to anyone. So I do appreciate the work and the effort that these schools are putting in to try and get the numbers that they need, but also at the end of the day, we have to do what's in the best interest of the students and the taxpayers of the state. So, any other comments? All right. Thank you, Dr. Norris.
Thank you.
Mr. Ackley, yeah.
Good morning, Melanie Rackley, Office of Charter Schools. And so today marks the third installment of the application revision work that we have presented over the course of the last 3 months. So today for you, sections 10 through 17 are presented. The Office of Charter Schools has made several suggestions. It looks like the update from Director Baquero states that this upcoming September, when your board reconvenes, after you all have had a chance to do the 2025 application evaluations, then the vote will occur on any changes for the upcoming 2026 charter application. So we have that as our timeline. And so for sections 10 through 17, namely the educational plan, the Office of Charter Schools, in light of new language specific to exclusion and disciplinary consequences, the Office of Charter Schools has made suggestions relative to including various exclusion references and statutory references in the within the education plan. So that's the summary of the suggestions that the Office of Charter Schools currently has provided. As we move to section 11, governance and capacity, we heard from various CSERB members over the course of several meetings that we should, think to include and separate like the teacher evaluation process separate from the licensure process, and then include any corrective action. So at the top of section 11, you kind of see the guidance and kind of summary of those suggestions there. Then when we move further down in section 11, we also previously made reference to moving out of the governance and capacity section, moving the articles of incorporation into section 2, which would cover the nonprofit information. And so then as we move into section 12, operations, again, we took the feedback that has been expressed in previous meetings that your board wanted to see more specifics from the applicants regarding the total number of classrooms, the total square footage, cost per square footage, et cetera, in this section, also including any short and long-term facility cost, more specifics around the types of classrooms and space that would be used as part of the application. So we kind of summarize that in section 12. Moving on to section 13, kind of to summarize that, we provided updates for the budget template specific to including legislatively mandated positions for the remote charter academy. So things like data, school media coordinators, and I believe instructional personnel. There are certain positions that are legislatively mandated. We've gone ahead and included those as line items in the budget template. And so we also heard that that for remote charter applicants, we wanted to see line items specific to like the classroom and the student devices, any type of software investments. So a lot of that, again, is specific to the remote charter applicants. No substantial suggestions for section 14, which are just the other forms. Third-party application preparation, no suggestions there, nor for the application fee or the signature page. And so we have all of the suggestions thus far from our previous months. So spanning section 1 through 17, at any time, your board can go back and make any suggestions as you, again, review the recently submitted application for this 2025 cycle, if that helps give additional perspective. So the Office of Charter Schools will be able to receive any of your revisions for sections 1 through 17. And so just a reminder that we have sent out a shared folder for the entire board. You do have to use your DPI credentials to actually access those, and you can input any of your suggestions. And I thank you to all of the members who have done that so far.
Thank you, Ms. Rackley. Any questions or comments regarding the input that were put into for the application? I had a thought, and I don't. Again, this is just because how many times we've looked at budgets that get submitted that seem to be where did you get those numbers? And I don't know if it'd be worth. You guys may already do this because I've not done it in a while, so I don't know that you do or don't. But if you're applying, say, for a school in Mecklenburg County or Wake County, whatever, would it not be worth an applicant's time to reach out to a school similar in scope to say, hey, would it be okay if we had a copy of your budget? Because there's things that get in there like your electric, your transportation, your textbook, things like that they're just taking a stab in the dark at most times instead of reaching out to a school that's similar in scope in their county to be able to get realistic numbers as opposed to fictitious numbers. I don't know if there's a way to help that happen.
So yeah, absolutely. So the research would be on behalf of the board. So they would have to identify that school that's in scope and similarity to them. But then once they identify that, the Office of Charter Schools has also always availed them access to the budget. It's always published on our website as well for the public, but they have to kind of narrow down and decide which schools they're looking to kind of duplicate in a way. And then we make that available to them.
And the application team and Ms. Rackley, they hold several like office hours and tech support and, application support. But again, it's whether a board actually takes advantage of that or not is in their court.
May I ask?
And this is Linda Cactus. I just, again, want to be very careful. I mean, there's so much in the application already that I really don't want to use the application as a teaching format. And I appreciate what the Office of Charter Schools is doing to try to help people who are writing the applications as much as possible. But the application, it's getting, how many pages now that it gets to be a extreme burden for especially even schools that are duplicating or things like that. Situations like that.
Could I ask, would it be possible to insert a question asking which other charter school in the state they think they most closely will resemble, so that they could then that would sort of drive them to look at budgets of those schools, and rather than dreaming things up, they could think about how they're deviating from the whatever model budget they've chosen. There are 200 schools out there. There's got to be somebody that they think looks kind of like what they want to look like. And that would give them a budget to start with, and then they could tweak that budget as opposed to starting with zero budget and trying to build it from scratch. But that would require them to think through, who are we going to be like? And there are a lot of people that could be like. Am I way off base?
The reason I brought up what I did, and Bart, thank you for that, is I just wonder, these schools, as we just saw in the RTO report, at the break-even number. Number one, how did you come up with your break-even number? And then number two, how does your budget reflect? Yeah, to me, the budget is one of those things that's such a living, breathing thing that it's not really, we don't really know until the first 30 days of school is up whether or not their budget's correct or not. And I think that there's got to be a better way for a school to figure that out, because I think of the two reasons why schools are not, we have to vote to close down. Oftentimes, it's the number one reasons is financials, right? So I just think that we just need to continue to help schools to focus on getting a budget and as tight as possible. So you're not figuring it out after, 30, 60 days of school, whether or not it's going to work or not, in the point of not using the application as a teaching tool. I understand that to a degree, but I don't know when you learn. I don't want to figure out after the school's been open for a while that what we had in the application isn't going to work. I'd rather learn that through the process. And I think what we're doing right now with the application and RTO, if you make it out of RTO and the application process, your school's probably going to be okay. But if you can't do either one of those, then it's not. That's the way I think things should work.
And again, I want to make sure that everybody understands, I'm not saying that those are not important questions. I think they're very important and best practices. I just don't want to fill the application with things that they should be doing. I mean, it's not a best practice worksheet. It's an application. So, but we can talk about that even more.
This is Shelley Shope. I understand what you're saying, but I agree with John that my fear is that when they get to us, I don't want our whole understanding of if we think that they are going to be competent, the board's going to be competent enough to have that school and run that school with just the presentation. I feel like that application does make you think about some things. I understand it is lengthy and maybe too cumbersome at this point, but I shy away from making it too easy is not the correct word, but not getting enough information from it for us and for the people applying to really think through the processes.
Ms. Reichley, thank you for everything you're doing to help guide the board to getting the application as tight as possible for schools, so that when people do come here, we get the best version of them and their school. So thank you again.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and we look forward to your input from now through the summer. Thank you.
Director updates.
All right, good morning. So speaking of applications, we just had the 2025 application portal close. As you know, the timeline is in rules and statute, and it begins at the end of January and remains open until the end of April. So I will give a caveat right now that this is what we have a few, maybe 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. Yeah. Since the closing of the portal, subject to change, but this is what we have, currently. We will go through the complete list checks, and then, an applicant that has something to complete, which most of the time there's things that need to be completed or, an error that needs to be revised. They are allowed a correction period. I believe it's 5 days by statute. Once that correction period is complete, if they, have completed the application, then they will be passed on to and prepared for external evaluators and for your board. And I think that this will be having kind of had this discussion about application changes right before you're heading into evaluating applications, I'm hoping will be a good kind of strategy, because it will be, I think it will bring these these kind of discussions to the top of mind, because you'll be able to see, like, as you're reviewing the application, oh, maybe we don't really need to know all this detail, or oh, maybe we need more detail here, right? But we have 17 applications. Again, this is before corrections and completeness checks, so subject to change. 8 accelerated with 2 fast track replication. Now, another caveat is that sometimes applicants are not accurately putting the timeline. From a quick review I did, it appears that there's 8 accelerated and then they are actually applying as accelerated. But again, the applications team will go through that and make sure that's accurate. If that is the case, that would be 10, or I guess 8, I think, and then 2 fast track are part of the accelerated. Those will be prioritized for interviews. So most likely you'll hear those all of those in September, this upcoming September. If we look at the county distribution, we have Wake County with the most applications, followed by Mecklenburg, Gaston, and then we have 1 application each in Durham, Moore, Forsyth, Edgecombe, Franklin, Pender, and Union. So you will get those applications shortly as we work to get everything prepared for you. But I wanted to kind of give a preview, and we often start getting a lot of questions just from the public about what we have received, and so this is what we have so far. Any questions on applications?
I'm just still scratching my head on 8 accelerated.
I know. Yeah, I was too. So we'll see how many get, what happens after completeness checks. Okay, and then we also have
Actually,
yeah.
I think that mic is about to die in you. It's crackling a lot. Is there a way to switch out a different one?
Okay, is this better?
Much better.
Okay. Okay, and then renewals, we have also been, the renewals team has just finished up, I believe, last week. Julie and Nikki finished up the last of the renewals travel, which took the team literally from one side of the state to the other. There were 40 renewal visits. As a reminder, a renewal visit has a pre-site visit review that includes the self-study, a review of compliance items, looking at the original application, kind of a full review. And then the consultants go to the school, they have a school tour, they meet with stakeholders. There's 4 different panel groups that we do, observe classrooms, and all of that feedback is provided to the schools. And then with some of them have necessary things they need to correct. Maybe they need, to update their application with an amendment, or, work on their board meeting minutes, things like that. So congratulations to the renewals team. It was a ton of travel this year, and they will start now working to prepare all of the compliance, the data, waiting for the academic data in the fall. And then we will start bringing you 40 renewal schools in November, along with the applications. They'll have to go hand in hand because we have so many. And then, okay, for applications, I did want to share this. If you're on your DPI account, I believe you would be able to see that link. If you're external, unfortunately, I do not think you will have access, but essentially the applications team identified a need to have some type of support and building of community for the boards that are approved. And then they have that kind of gap period before entering RTO in September. And so Ms. Rockley and the renewals team came up with this Discovering Your New School. And we've been receiving a lot of positive feedback. I think it's been I've been really excited to see what they've done. But essentially it's a Google Classroom, a way for the boards to get some it's all optional. Right, it's giving them a lot of resources on governance. They have a place to ask questions. We recently got a question about, do you suggest we have a financial support person? Right, like things that will help them be even kind of have a head start for RTO, and then also build camaraderie among that group of new applicants. So that's something else, a new initiative that the applications team came up with and really excited to share. I'm also always shouting at my team because they are amazing. So sharing just some of the recent compliments for RTOs. There were some applications, renewals. I'm just really proud of the team and the work we do as we continue to have more and more charter schools in the state. And then finally, upcoming, giving you a little rundown of the summer. We have your June 9th meeting, which of course the big item there is you will hear from the schools that have not met all the requirements for RTO. And based on the presentation you just saw, we will most likely have several of them before you, either because the facility is not ready or because there's enrollment concerns. That will be your chance to approve each charter agreement. June 10th and 11th for all RTO new leaders, we have the Institute here at DPI. In July is the Association for Public Charter Schools Conference. So if you're attending that, there will be a panel for CSRB, and we would love to have anybody that attends take part on that. And then in July and August, we of course will be in contact with you. We do not have meetings for the summer, but we will be in contact with you as we provide you the applications for evaluation. And September 8th and 9th, that will be the beginning of our 25-26 calendar. So it's kind of our year kind of ends in June, and then we start back up in September. So any questions?
Ashley, this is Steve Gay. I've got two things. The discovery idea is awesome. Is there a way that, like, when you have new board members, even established charter schools, could maybe have access to that as well? Because that's a big learning curve for them.
Yeah, we could definitely think about that. We have recently started a new governance, like a quarterly newsletter that we send out that provides information. We also do, of course, we always remind people we do board training for free, obviously. So that also is something we recommend, especially if we have new board members. But we can definitely look into that as well, Stephen.
And then the other question I have is, can you kind of give insight, or I don't know if this is the time and place, for the question about the exclusion, why that's coming up now? And I know Julie's can get slammed with amendment things. Is there something that I think the coalition was talking about doing something legislatively? Do we go ahead and do the amendments, or what should we do?
It is up to our board. We're working on a way to make it an easier process through. So when, essentially we just need a cover letter and meeting minutes. The background on that is that there is a statute in the Charter School Act that lists the things that shall be in an application. And one of those things is whether the school plans to use exclusion, and if so, what are the procedures by which they will utilize. That has come up recently in court where exclusion has been challenged by a parent, and there has been judge's orders that have shown that or have stated that a school cannot use exclusion if it's not in the charter application, and because of that statute that lists all of the things that must be in a charter application. So in speaking to attorneys that represent charter schools, this was really the only way we could kind of problem solve that, is putting that specifically in the application. And if for our past applicants, obviously you don't have a new application, the only way to do that is through the amendment.
Okay.
Hopefully that makes sense.
It does.
It's a roundabout problem solving way for schools to be able to use exclusion if that's what they utilize in discipline.
So there'll be some information coming about doing the cover letter soon, or is that?
Yeah, if you're interested, you just need to email Julie, and she will, if a school would like to make that amendment, and she'll send you the task and epicenter. But essentially, a school just needs to tell us what is going to be added to their charter application in terms of exclusion.
Okay. She's already done that. Thank you.
Okay.
This is Linda Lynn. I'm sorry I'm not there today in person, but thank you for all your work, Ashley. Especially is what Stephen just said, discovering your new school initiative. That was exactly what I was talking about, as far as making sure we provide what the schools need, and sharing with them best practices, knowing that they're not mandated to do those best practices, but we would like to share with you what we know. So I appreciate you so much doing that. I just have one other question. It's come to my attention that DPI is no longer paying for Link for new charters during their first year. And this was recently told the RTO charters. Do you know why this, or a specific reason for this added cost now to charter schools, new cost?
Do not know, other than I've been told that DPI cannot afford it. Apparently last year, because there were only 2 RTO schools, it was something that could be provided. And now that there are 10, we have been told that it is no longer something that DPI can fund.
Do you know how much that cost is?
16,000 for the first year per school.
16,000. Well, when we've had other, they've done that since we've started charter schools paying for it. I mean, this is just recently new, isn't it?
Yes, just this is the first, to my knowledge, as you know, since I've been here, this is the first year that they are not providing the first year of links.
And we've had RTO process with 10 new schools open in a year in the past too, haven't we?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We might need, I would like to get a little bit more information on that if we want to ask the business office specifically why, since they have done it in the past for that many schools. And so that we, some of our organizations, and let General Assembly members know that that's not being paid for any longer.
Okay. We can definitely look into that. Any other questions?
No, thank you for the update,
No.
Ashley. I know your team's working very hard,
Okay.
wrapping up the current and then getting ready for next year. So. All righty. Well, unless anyone has any final comments or questions, I think that's a wrap for the May meeting of the Charter School Review Board. And hopefully get to see some of you this summer as well at the conference. So I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second and third that.
All right. Record time.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned, and have a great day. Great month.
Our lunch is coming up right now. So
You want to grab a